Hello Motorrider World fans, and welcome to this latest episode of Talking MotoGP, where we're going to talk the latest MotoGP team that has just launched their 2023 campaign, and it is the champions Ducati, Factory Ducati, Lenovo Ducati, who had a combined launch along with the World Superbike team, who of course also are world champions. So just like I started the last video, I would like to start this one by giving a round of applause. I know people Ducati get a lot of stick for having too many bikes on the grid and it's not fair, and they should be patted on the back. You know, it's okay, I don't want to say a tiny company, but you know, it's not the mighty Honda, the mighty Yamaha, the mighty Suzuki. It's Ducati, this Italian brand out of Bologna in Italy. And they've thrown everything at it. World Superbikes, they've got a host of bikes on the grid with lots of support. And MotoGP, to throw 8 bikes, sometimes 9 bikes with Pirro when he did the wild card, at MotoGP, and all those resources, all that money, all that manpower, everything. You know what? Hats off to them. They deserve the world title, and they finally got it after a very, very long time of waiting. Casey Stoner, the last rider in MotoGP to win on the Ducati. The big news when they launched was, or the question that was on everyone's lips was Bagnaia going to run 63 or number 1? And I'm very pleased to see that he's gone with the number 1. It's the first time in 10 years that we've seen the number 1 plate shown in the MotoGP championship. So I think it's the way to go. I think if you're a champion, you should be proud of that number 1 plate. I've got nothing against the likes of Rossi and Marquez running their 93s and their 46s and Jean Mir running 36. I understand that's your brand and that, but it's just nice to see the number 1. That is the target. Number 1, growing up when I was, watching bike racing, I always used to look for the number 1. That was always your kind of reference. And Pecco Bagnaia's got that number 1, and it comes with a lot of pressure. We've seen previous champions buckle and not being able to back it up. You look most recently at Jean Mir, didn't have the best kind of reign as trying to regain that world title. Pecco Bagnaia, I do think is going to be a bit different. I do think he is still the man to beat, although his teammate Enea Bastianini, who we'll get to in a second, is already playing mind games, saying that he thinks Marc Marquez is the man to beat in this year's championship. Now, 2 ways of looking at that. The one way is that, putting pressure on Marc Marquez and Honda to try and make them buckle and put this pressure on that you guys are the kind of the yardstick, and the other way is to look at it to maybe piss Pecco Bagnaia off a bit, because he is the champion on the best bike in the best team. So why wouldn't he be favored? Why wouldn't you say I was the favorite? So yeah, I think Enea Bastianini already getting under the skin there already. Perhaps I think Ducati's biggest task of this new season, apart from again just managing all the riders that they have with all the machines that they have, is the 2 factory riders, Pecco Bagnaia and Enea Bastianini. 2 Italians, 2 very stubborn Italians in many ways, 2 Italians that want to be the top Italian rider, the top MotoGP rider, the top Ducati rider. Now you've got to manage those expectations within a team. You've got to manage that rivalry and not let it boil over. Gigi Dall'Igna, in the interview at the launch, said we've got to keep it neat and tidy. We know there's going to be a rivalry. We know they're going to be 2 top contenders going for the championship, but they have to keep it respectful, civil, and sportsmanlike. That's going to be tough. That really is going to be tough. Ducati hasn't always been the best in terms of man management, so we're going to have to wait and see how these two go. You throw in the likes of Jorge Martin, who's pissed off with Ducati that he didn't get the factory right, so he's got a point to prove on his Pramac Ducati, on his factory Ducati essentially. Luca Marini, I think he's going to have a big season on the Muni VR46. Marco Bezzecchi, Rookie of the Year last year. Johan Zarco's got a lot to prove. We'll touch upon those other riders as they launch the teams. The next team to launch is, of course, tomorrow, which is Wednesday. That is the Pramac Racing team. So we'll dive into Jorge Martin and Johan Zarco there. But yep, Pecco Bagnaia is the champion. He's got that number 1 plate. The Ducati pretty much unchanged. A couple new sponsors. Looks like Monster Energy have taken the sponsor that was left now from Suzuki departing the championship. That's moved over to the Factory Ducati team. Pecco Bagnaia was already a monster athlete. This affects Enea Bastianini a little bit more, who was a long-time Red Bull athlete. He's had to, from what I understand, he's had to pretty much decline a big deal with Red Bull to go with this factory Ducati deal with Monster Energy, so that affects him there. But Pecco Bagnaia, nice, beautiful number one, hints of 63. If you look at his team cap, he's still got the 63 on his team cap, he's still got the 63 on his headstock of his bike. So 63 is still very much apparent and still very much his number, but proudly showing off that number one plate on the front of that Ducati. And so they should, because they are the team to beat. They really, really are the team to beat. And like I said, hats off to Ducati. It was a great year for them last year, winning the MotoGP World Championship and everything in there. Rookies, constructors, team championship, everything there. And in World Superbikes as well with Alvaro Bautista. He was also present along with his teammate for the season, Rubens Rinaldi, at this launch. So that's going to be a good team once again there. Rinaldi, I'm surprised he kind of kept that ride, to be honest. Don't think he did enough, but Italian, keep the Italian in the team. I think it's more of a testing role. I think he does a lot of development behind the scenes to help Alvaro go for it. Big pressure on Alvaro Bautista to go and win that for a second year in a row. Again, that number one plate, huge pressure in World Superbikes. We've seen Cole Fogarty do it. We've seen Troy Bayliss do it on the Ducatis before, but it's a different ball game, and there's a lot more riders coming into that World Superbike Championship. I'll do a talking World Superbikes for the 2023 preview a little bit later on. So finishing with Pecco Bagnaia, he knows that there's a lot of pressure that comes with that number one plate. He knows that he's got a big target on his back, but he said he's proud to have that number one plate, and he's ready to take on all challenges and to really give it a go. He wants to win again. He feels proud that he did it for Ducati, that he did it for the VR46 Academy, that he did it for Italy. Let's remember, Italy haven't been able to celebrate a champion since Valentino Rossi, really. So Pecco Bagnaia really is the new Italian hope. And there's no reason why he can't go do the same. I think he's comfortable in the team. I don't think too much is going to change with the package. Gigi Dall'Igna said he's not going to make the same mistakes in previous years and come out at the tests with all their changes and pretty much show all the other teams what they are doing in terms of development. They're going to try and keep it a little bit more under wraps, undercover, and really surprise teams so that they can use the advantage of having these components or these methods up front to use against the teams, rather than putting the Stegosaurus spines on. Next race meeting, everyone just about has it. But I don't think too much is going to change with that Ducati. I think Pecco had a good base. We saw him start the 2022 season off terribly because it was still in the development stage. He doesn't like that. He came out last year saying, I'm not a test rider. I don't want to develop anything. I want a bike that can go and win. And once they had that setup, we've touched upon it with Simon Crayfall, once Pecco finds that happy medium and that setup that he likes, it's literally a tweak here, a tweak there, but he very much keeps that base setup. And that's what makes him so strong, is that he doesn't go up and down, left and right. If you look at like KTM, the development that they're doing, I think that's their biggest downfall, is that they have to go up, down, left, right, to try and find that happy medium, whereas Ducati, play in a little gap about that big compared to the others, and they just tweak it, and they've got the best package on the grid. And I think Pecco Bagnaia is the man to beat, although everyone's still saying it's Marc Marquez. I think Pecco Bagnaia he has to be. He's got the number one plate. He, second half of last season dominated in terms of fastest laps, pole positions, races. His race management is brilliant. So I think he'll handle it okay. It's how he's going to handle having his new teammate, who is Enea Bastianini. Up till now, Pecco Bagnaia had Jack Miller, the perfect teammate, giving him cuddles, being the perfect wingman, saying, right, you go out and win the championship. Jack Miller's biggest problem to me, and we'll touch upon it when we launch the KTM team, is that he doesn't have enough belief in himself. He was just very happy to be a Factory Ducati rider, and he didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So, and I think that played on his mind a little bit too often. So he just played perfect wingman to Pecco Bagnaia, and Pecco loved that. Thanks, Jack. You'll help me out. Now he's got a teammate who, in the words of Pecco Bagnaia, says is a bastard, because we all know Enea Bastianini is a bastard. He pushes like a bastard, and he is a tough, gritty, pit bully, bulldog type Italian rider. He really is. There's no hold bar. He wants to win. He's come out saying, I want to win. I'm not here to play second fiddle to Pecco Bagnaia, the champion. I want to win. And he showed last year that he's very capable of doing that in a satellite team on a previous generation bike. Factory bike, factory support. He's got all the tools now needed to go for that championship. Enea Bastianini, his number's 23. It's the year 2023. Could that be an omen? Could that be a sign of things to come for Enea Bastianini? I'm very excited to see how he goes in that factory team, and I'm curious to see how Ducati manage Enea Bastianini and Pecco, that rivalry in that team. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. But Bastianini, love the helmet, love that KYT and that alien beast design that he's got. As I said, no more Red Bull sponsorship there. Monster Energy on his helmet and his cap there for him. Can't wait to get to that first round at Portimao and try and get a couple of caps signed or something. I just love doing that. But it's a great team. Gigi Dall'Igna is still there. He's going to come up with some weird and wacky things. I'm again curious to see what's going to come out. Are we going to see spines on the riders' helmets and things poking out of the leathers and screens that are made out of, I don't know, Vaseline or something? You never know with Gigi Dall'Igna and Ducati. But they've got a very good base, and I don't think they need to tweak that base too much, because Honda are going to be doing a lot of tweaking. Yamaha are going to be doing a lot of tweaking. I think KTM are going to be doing a lot of tweaking, although I think they've shortened that gap now. They're not having to go up, down, left, right as much as previous seasons. I think they're going to be a lot closer. Aprilia. So I think Ducati, if they just kind of keep what they have and go to the first race in Portimao, could land up dominating there. I still think they are the favourites. Pecco is a favourite, and Bastianini has got to be one of the favourites. And it's a strong team. It's very much a message for all the other teams to say, catch us if you can. Two Italians, two of the fastest Italians in the world at the moment, in the best team, on the best bike. I mean, what more do you need to say? So that is 3 teams launched them. The Factory Yamaha Monster Energy team, Gresini Ducati, and now the Factory Lenovo Ducati MotoGP team, along with the World Superbike team there. As I said, we'll do a Talking World Superbike, Talking World Superbike soon to highlight the 2023 season. Up next is the Pramac Racing team, and then we'll go through right until the season starts. Remember, it's only a couple of weeks away until the Sepang test start. First, with the test riders, Cal Crutchlow will be out for Yamaha, Pirro on the Ducati, and all the other test riders, and then it's time for the big boys to come out and play for the first time in 2023. I just cannot wait. I'm counting down the days for the season to start. It's going to be another epic season. So make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, all of our platforms for all the latest news and up-to-date Talking MotoGP episodes. We're going to have some live chats with some riders later this year. We're going to get as much content as we possibly can for you, all you MotoGP nutters like me. Bring it on. Bring it on.